Manhattan, inside the 58th floor of Harris & Cole Enterprises, one of the most powerful corporations in New York City. The lights shimmered off glass walls as the city below drowned in rain. And right there, at the very top, a billionaire CEO, Isabella Cole, stood trembling before the one person she never thought she'd fall for. But before I tell you what he said that night, let me take you back to how it all began. Pause. Oh, and before we dive in, if you love stories about redemption, love, and the power of humility, hit that like button and subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles, because today's story will leave your heart stunned. Scene 1, the Ice Queen of Wall Street. Isabella Cole, age 31, had everything: looks, wealth, and power. She was known in the business world as the Ice Queen of Wall Street. Her suits were tailored in Italy, her diamond watch alone worth more than most people's yearly salary. Yet behind those cold eyes, a wound still bled quietly. Her fiancé, Richard Moore, had left her 6 months ago, days before their wedding, after revealing he'd only been with her for money. Since then, Isabella had turned her heart into steel. She told herself, "No one leaves me again." Scene 2, the Janitor. Late nights were normal for her. But one evening, as she stayed back working past midnight, she noticed someone humming near the glass windows, a young janitor, mop in hand, quietly cleaning. His name tag read Eli Turner. He was in his late 20s, calm brown eyes, a gentle smile, and the kind of posture that didn't match the blue janitor uniform. He carried himself like someone who'd once dreamed of more. "Shouldn't you be home?" Isabella asked sharply, not looking up from her screen. Eli smiled softly. "I could ask you the same, ma'am." That reply, simple, respectful, yet bold, caught her off guard. No one ever talked to her like that. "Careful," she said, narrowing her eyes. "I sign your paychecks." Eli chuckled quietly. "You sign a lot of people's paychecks. Doesn't mean you see them." For the first time in years, Isabella had no comeback. Something about his tone, calm, confident, made her chest tighten. Scene 3, Coffee and Confessions. Over the next few nights, Isabella found herself waiting for that janitor's humming. He'd clean near her office, and somehow they'd always end up talking. He never asked her about business. Never flattered her. Instead, he'd ask strange things like, "Do you ever miss being ordinary? When was the last time someone made you laugh for real?" One night, Isabella snapped, "You talk like you know me." He replied quietly, "Maybe I just see what you hide." That line hit her harder than she expected. Because it was true. For years, she'd hidden loneliness behind success. So, she did something unthinkable. She invited him for coffee. They sat at a late-night diner, talking like old friends. He told her he'd studied engineering before his mom got sick and he had to drop out to pay her medical bills. He wasn't bitter. He wasn't ashamed. He just said, life doesn't always pay what it owes, but it still gives you a chance to do right. Isabella didn't know it, but that night, a crack formed in the ice around her heart. Scene 4, the rumor. But the corporate world is cruel. A week later, whispers spread across the office, the CEO is dating the janitor. People snickered behind her back, some jealous, others disgusted. Richard Moore, her ex, even called her. He laughed through the phone. "You really fell that low? From a Moore to a mop?" Isabella hung up. But that night, she broke down in her penthouse apartment, crying harder than she had in years. The next morning, Eli found her in her office, eyes red, mascara smudged. Without a word, he handed her a small folded note. It read, "People only mock what they don't understand. Don't let their blindness make you hide your light." That moment, simple, gentle, sealed something between them. Scene 5, the proposal. 2 months passed. The city began to thaw into spring, and so did Isabella. She smiled more. Laughed more. Even the board noticed the change, but she didn't care what they thought. One evening, she waited for Eli by the elevators, holding a small velvet box. When he arrived, covered in cleaning gloves, she said something that stunned the entire building. "Eli Turner, I'm done pretending I don't care. Marry me, or I'll find someone else who can handle this heart before it freezes again." The floor went silent. The employees nearby froze mid-step. Eli blinked, unsure if she was serious. You want to marry me?" She smiled nervously. "Yes. You. The janitor who sees me more clearly than any billionaire ever did." But Eli's expression changed. His eyes filled with pain. He took a deep breath and said softly, "Isabella, before you give me that ring, there's something you should know." Scene 6, The Secret. Isabella's pulse raced. She looked at him, confused, scared. "What do you mean?" she whispered. He pulled something from his pocket, a crumpled ID card from years ago. It said, Elijah Cole, MIT Research Department. She froze. "Cole?" He nodded slowly. "My full name is Elijah Cole. I used to work at your father's research lab before he died." Her breath hitched. "My father's lab? That's impossible, that lab closed after the fire." Eli looked down. "I was there that night. Your father died trying to save me." The room spun. She gripped the wall for balance. He continued, tears in his eyes. "I've lived with that guilt every day. I took this janitor job at your company just to make sure you were okay, but I never thought I'd fall in love with you." The box in her hand fell to the floor. Rain began to beat against the windows again, thunder rolling outside as if the sky itself mourned. Scene 7, The Walk Away. For the first time, Isabella couldn't speak. She wanted to scream, to ask why he hadn't told her sooner, but she couldn't. All she could whisper was, "You knew all this time, and you still stayed near me?" He nodded. "I didn't want forgiveness. I just wanted to make sure you never felt alone like your father did that night." She took a trembling step back, voice cracking. "So, you've been watching me out of guilt?" Eli's eyes glistened. "At first, yes. But now, it's love. The kind that doesn't ask for anything back." Silence. Just the sound of thunder. Then, quietly, Isabella said, "You should go." Eli hesitated, then turned away, leaving her standing alone as lightning flashed across the glass. The velvet box still lay open on the marble floor, the diamond catching the light like a frozen tear. Scene 8, The Message. Later that night, Isabella sat alone in her office. She replayed every moment, every smile, every late-night conversation, every coffee shared under flickering lights. Finally, she whispered to herself, "Maybe love doesn't come wrapped in perfection, maybe it comes in truth." She picked up her phone and opened a message from Eli sent an hour ago. It read, "If I could turn back time, I'd save your father again. But I'd also tell you, he wasn't saving me, Isabella. He was saving the man who would one day save you." Tears blurred her vision as she looked out over the rain-soaked city. Her reflection in the window was no longer the Ice Queen. It was a woman, learning how to feel again.